Looks like it's recording. Hello, YouTube. Today is March the 31st, 2018. And I'm taking a break from my private videos. And we are jumping over to a requested video from one of my friends, from Oprius, over at Nerdy Dude Stuff. Nerdy Dude Stuff. Great video. Great content comes out of there. And me and him have been chatting about this P3D coin, Proof of Weak Hands 3D. And I was going to show you how it worked. I'm just going to run through it a little bit. I'm going to talk about where I got in, what's going on, stuff like that. So first, just pull up a window, p3dcoin.com. And it's going to take us to this site. Now, first impressions on this site are Ponzi scam, pyramid scam, run off with your money, BitConnect, all that sort of good stuff, right? A smart pyramid ecosystem. And you start looking at this and you're like, you don't want to have anything to do with it. You really don't. So you think, right? So you think. This is just the way the landing page is. A lot of it talks about this P3D coin being a joke or being a game. And that's because there's no people behind this, okay? There's developers that made the contract, the smart contract, and we're going to take a look at the smart contract. This is nothing more than just a one page of code that's an ERC20 token. Let's go through this page. We'll click on decentralized exchange. Now, if this is your first time coming to this site and you click on the exchange, it's not going to look like the way mine does because you have to be logged in. And it'll probably tell you you're not logged in. And you could click around this site forever saying, how do I log in? And there's no button. There's no login button because you do not log in on this site. This site is one of many sites, okay? This is not like that. This is one of the official sites, this powh.io, but there's many of them that interact with this token, that interact with this coin, this contract. It's not, all the site does is interact with the Ethereum blockchain, okay? This is important to understand because if you don't know why you're not logged in, that's why. You need to download something called MetaMask. They have an extension. I'm using Chrome right now. And over here is this little box guy. I downloaded the extension, and if we pull that up, it's really simple to do. Just look for MetaMask. It will add this little extension that is kind of like an Ether wallet that sits in your browser and keeps track of keys, and it'll have you put a password, and then it'll give you a I'll go into more detail in that if people need it, but that's how you have to log in. If you're not logged in there, let's log out. I'll show you. We'll refresh the page, and what we're going to see is what you would see if you just came here. And it doesn't make much sense, right? It says purchase tokens, and if you put something in 0.02, we're going to get more into the coin. I'm just going through these pages one step at a time. And this MetaMask, see, it says you're not signed into MetaMask. So pull that up and sign back in. And then we could refresh the page. And what we're going to see is holdings will appear over here, and profit or dividends, whatever it calls it. I'm surprised they didn't make up their own new word for it, because it isn't really, and yeah, it just says ether there. 0.92. So there 0.0092. Now this is what I've earned since last night. Okay. Because last night I clicked reinvest so I can get a little bit more of the P3D coin. And this 0.92 is what I earned. Let me show you. There is a site right here. This is my actual profit chart, and anyone could access their profit chart. And right here is where I bought in, my original buy-in. Now, when you're first, let's just highlight that section of it. When you first buy in, this is what I bought in for, this 0.0161. You're in the negative. You basically lost money because you bought into this coin. And three things start happening. You'll notice there's three lines here. Okay, this purple line is your dividends that comes from the tax as everybody uses the coin, as they buy the coin, as they sell the coin, as they trade the coin. Every transaction is taxed 10%. And that's just divided amongst all the coin holders. Okay, so with every transaction, this purple line here is going up, 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 up. Okay, this blue line here that's just sort of flat, that would be referrals, because this coin, this smart contract, does have a one-time referral programmed into it, meaning if someone purchases and they use your link, you get a little bit of the transaction. I think it's 3% of the total. And down here, you see this line that's creeping up and down, and then some right here goes down a little bit, and then here it's going up. This is the actual price of the coin. Okay, every time someone buys a coin, the next coin costs a little more. This is programmed into the contract. So you cannot sell. Every coin has a different price, okay, depending on what age it is. If you went and bought 10 coins all at once, you're not getting all 10 coins for the same price. You're getting coin number 1 at a certain price, and then the next coin is a little higher. And then the next coin is a little higher. You can buy 10, but it's going to be staggered all the way up. And it works the same way on the way down. If I went and sold, so this was just the beginning of the chart here. Right here, this R is a reinvestment where I took my profit at the time, which you could see was slowly growing. This purple line was about that 0.002, and I reinvested it in the hopes of getting this profit line to curve up more, to look more parabolic or logarithmic or something of that nature. Let's zoom back out and take a bigger look at the whole picture. I had zoomed in on the map there to show you just the beginning. Now, a lot of people, when they look at this, they're looking at this one that's like shooting like way up here, and they're saying yes, 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 right? Because this is showing like all kinds of profit. Like from that 0.0018, it's showing like almost a half of an ether. This is literally about 8 days. The one I pay attention to is this purple line. This is the one that never disappears. Okay, because this line that goes up, if for some reason people started selling, this line would start to curve down. Okay, but this purple line would just keep on going up. No matter what this line does, the purple line, which is the dividends, would just keep on going up. I got my picture right there, so it's probably not a great view from your end. But let's just zoom in on the end of this, see if we can get a little bigger. As you can see, I did get a few little referrals here, nothing too big, just people hearing about the platform. But it's showing profit, okay? This is a lot more than a lot of the other coins that I've been in has to show for it. Let's take a look at some of the other sides of it here. Here we went back to the trading page, which is where it says exchange. And up here where it says the total amount in the contract, we're just going to click on that. And it's going to take us over to the contract address right on Etherscan. Now, it looks like, wow, we're up to almost $4 million in here. And this is the balance, almost 10,000 Ether. Now, this is it, right? You could see the money. If you went to BitConnect, you can't see their money. You don't know what was in their account. Or if you went to any of the other lending platforms, there's no way to tell. There's no way to see who's holding what, or whether they pulled out, or when they're transferring, or if all the money is even still there. You have no idea of knowing. But on this one, it's very transparent. So you can always see that the money's there. The money's safe. If this ever got hacked, this would be the first place you'd notice that the money disappeared. If they tried to exit scam, see, they can't really exit scam. And here's the reason why. Let's pull this one up in a new link. There's 3,200 addresses. People that are taking part in this coin. And if we go back over here to the P3D coin site, or any of the sites that interact with this chain, we can see here a token distribution chart. And we see all these, each one of these pieces of the pie represents someone that's holding a big amount of coin. And this great big chunk right here, this isn't the developers, this is the static, this is the people in the background that are just holding little fractions. So a good third of the coin is held by people that this can't even calculate a percentage for it, because it would be, too small to draw the graph. They just had to bunch those all together, probably less than 1,000th of a total percent or something like that. So the point is that I was getting to about the developers. They don't own much of the coin. A lot of them are these little 1% shares. These 2%, some of these are people are whales that came along and bought in at that amount, because I witnessed the buy. But even if all the developers, which there's only about 6, and they didn't get no coin issued to them, they didn't get no free coin, they had to buy their coin like everyone else. Even if they sold, it might drop the price about 8%. And then it would just continue running on without them, because this is out of their hands. They can't control this. They couldn't stop it no more than we could, no more than anyone could. There's nothing you can do to stop this contract. Over here, we're seeing, let's move this up a little so my head's not blocking it. This is the volume for each day. Now, these are the numbers I like to pay attention to. As you could see yesterday, there was 4,000 Ether volume, which means 10% of that, 400, was spread amongst the coin holders. 238 has been spread amongst the coin holders as of today. When I started, it was back over here. So this is a huge increase. Now, I'll talk more about where I think this coin is going to go. But let's cover a couple more simple things. The exchange. Now, another thing you're gonna notice on this site, this is important. No, it's not that important, but you have to click refresh a lot because these numbers, right? Remember, it's not on this site. This site just interacts with your MetaMask account. So if you don't refresh the page, it's not going to pop up with any earnings. And we'll talk about the total. And as you could see, that ticked up a little bit. I think it was at 90 when I started this, 91, 92, 93, right? Let's look at my holdings. I do not have much in here. I started out with $40. I always go into these things. I never go in whale style, okay? I always go in the way a normal person would, the way I think. Uh, and I'm not telling anyone to invest in this, okay? None of this is in any way to tell you to invest in this. I am not a financial advisor. I do not know what this qualifies to be. The government don't even knows what this qualifies to be. Is this an asset? Is this a monetary thing? Is this a game? Is this a joke? Nobody knows. So I can't talk on that side of it, but I can say that I started with $40. What I did. Current account value 240.08. Earnings in the past since midnight last night to 11:30 a.m. today, about 12 hours, $3.73. And I can get 0.06. So at this point, I could withdraw this Ether to my wallet. Okay, this is my money. All I would do is say withdraw. Blam. Now the thing is, the withdrawal function is very simple. If you're going to withdraw, it's going to withdraw all of your earnings right there. You can't really split it up, I don't think. But I've only withdrawn once, and that was to get some gas money so I can keep reinvesting because that's what I like to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this buy and reinvest. And right here, there's this button. Reinvest for 6. I click reinvest. It's going to interact with my MetaMask over here. It's going to pull up a transaction window that automatically inputs the reinvest function. So you're sending a transaction to the blockchain, or I am, but all the transaction is it says the word reinvest with a couple parentheses brackets. It's just a reinvest function. Submit. And whenever that reinvest function hits the chain, it'll take whatever my earnings were there. Okay, if it takes an hour to hit for some reason because I put low gas and this keeps ticking up, it's going to take whatever's there. If in the next 2 minutes someone uses my master node and buys a huge amount of coin and I get a nice little commission right there because that reinvest function is still pending, as soon as it hits the chain, it's going to reinvest all of it because there's no amount that goes into that function input. It's just a reinvest function sent. So you don't have to worry about that. I say that because I do private classes and we're talking about a lot of programming stuff. We'll get back to that elliptic curve stuff soon enough for those guys that are watching. But for now, we're going to see what's happening here. Sometimes the transaction goes through right away, so I like to click refresh. Sometimes it takes a little while. It's hard to tell. This one might take a little while. So let's talk about the chat room. Okay. This chat room is probably one of the hottest places in crypto right now. A lot of the big names that you'll see on YouTube and such are just sitting in here. They're hiding. They're never under their name. I'm not going to log into it because it will slow down the feed because they're going crazy in there. They're always, always, always talking. So let's take a look at what do I think this coin is going to do? Right? Why did I invest into it? Is it going to go up in price? Is it going to tank? Are they going to run off? So, and I said I would pull up the code. Let's see if I could show you the code. If you want to see the code for this contract, it's very simple. You just go to this blockchain. It says source code right here, contract source. If people are interested, I can do a video where we go through this code and literally go through every function in here and explain what it's doing. These early parts, this is setting what an administrator is, right? This is anti-whale. Basically, they set a little timer saying that people couldn't come in and just buy a huge amount of coin right at the beginning. They were maxed out to 1 ether, so none of the devs could make a purchase bigger than 1 ether at the time. This is showing some of the more simple functions. I don't want to get too much into this. That's going to be a little more technical than people want to see. They have this ambassador program. A lot of people say, oh, what the hell is an ambassador? It doesn't really give them much of anything. The ambassador just allowed them to buy in at the beginning, right? Because there was, at the very beginning when the contract was first launched, they wanted to make sure that the group that was building it would do that. Shut that door, please. Shut that door. I'm recording a video at the moment. Shut the door. You gotta love when you're recording and everyone wants to come running in, right? I'm not going to go too deep into this code. There were a couple things I was going to point out, though, and that is in these codes, you can put a section where you can go and make updates, right? And this code is very, very limited on what can be updated. Only the creator can update, basically. And the only thing he could update, he locked himself out of all but 3 things. There's only 3 things he can update. One is the amount of coins needed for a master node, or the staking requirement, which used to be set at 100. It has been reduced down to 5. So that way people are able to access that without going too deep into this. And the other 2 things that he could access is the name of the token and the ticker symbol. That's it. So if he wanted to change the name and the ticker symbol, he could. Other than that, nothing else is accessible. There are no functions that give him access to withdraw or liquefy or close the account. None that I can see. And I spent a day going through every line of this code. But there's the code. That is what you're interacting with. Okay? There's no website. There's no crew. There's no owners. There's no tech support. There's no building, no server. This is it. This line of code, and all we're doing is interacting with this. It says 808 lines of code, but the truth is about 200 of those lines are just comments and stuff like this, maybe even more than that. It's not a very complicated contract, is the point. It's something you might go over on a level 2 programming class. I mean, it's really not bad. So this coin is sitting at $4 million. Where do I think it's going to go? Well, look at any of the other coin market caps. That's what I do. Any of the other coin market caps. And $4 million is a joke. It's a very laughable joke. Okay. But this thing just started. It's maybe a month old. So I really think, there's only, when I first started, there were 480 addresses. Now there's 3,200 addresses. That's each address basically represents a person that is invested or using it or has tried it, right? That's holding coin right now. A lot of people have made 2 addresses in the effort to try and get their own referrals from each other, which, they think it proves they're pretty smart. All it really proves is they don't know how to read code, because that's not required. You could actually use your own referral address. It can be done. In fact, here, I'll show you. I did it by accident. But if you go to your master node, it will show you how much you've made from referrals. Mine says 0 because I keep reinvesting it. Right? I keep reinvesting it. But if we go over here, I've got 2 pages. And my very first referral was from me, right? 7D, 7AB. That sounds familiar. 7D, 7AB. Oh yeah, 7D, 7AB. So you can use your own referral link. It doesn't work for reinvestments, okay? It only works for first-time buys. You have to have 5 of the P3D coins in there to use it. Let's refresh here. See if we either get some more PD3 because my reinvestment order went through, or if we get a little more dividends. That's the other thing I like, is the dividends are just all day long. It's not like you gotta wait until the end of the day and then they're posted. It's whenever it interacts. And okay, so this is a question I've had a lot. I don't know if this is a good graph to show it with, or maybe if I just explain it. So as more people buy in, more coins are made, right? So you would think that your cut of the dividends is being cut down because they got to separate it between more coins. But that's just not true. That's the issue there is when the new coin is made, an adjustment is made to the next coin in price to adjust for that new coin being made, and so on with each additional coin after. So this might be a good graph to show it with. Let's refresh it so we can get a bigger picture. When I first invested, there was only about 700 Ether in the contract. And there wasn't that many coins, about 400,000 coins. So in a sense, if there was 1 Ether in profit or tax, and there were 400,000 coins, I would get one. If I only owned 1 coin, I'd get 1/400,000th of that 1 Ether, right? So down here, the tax was small, if that made sense, on each coin. But because the price of the coin is going up to adjust for more coins being made, the point is the dividends just basically seem the same. In fact, they seem to be getting better. Even though way more coins have been made since I started, my dividends just keep coming in faster. And you can kind of see it in this curve. You could barely see it. My head's right there, so you can't see it at all. Let's see if I can move that. Ah, joy. Anyway, right here it's starting to get more logarithmic, right? I don't know if I won't talk about that, but it's curving up more. As I pick up more coins, I'm actually getting, right, that would be more linear. If my coin stayed steady, this line would be linear or a straight line. So if I bought in 20 coins and I stayed at 20 coins and volume stayed the same, we would expect this line to be just straight. But because I keep reinvesting, we're seeing this curving up. I'm not going to get too deep into the math. I just wanted to go over this. I was hoping I would get this reinvestment to go through before I ended the video. I should have done this live so people could ask questions. But this is P3D coin. I put my money in and it keeps giving me ether. Will they run off with it? I don't know. Who knows? Who cares, right? I don't care because all I put was $40 into it. And I'm a gambler like that. I'll let it ride. But I can tell you this. I've seen coins where $40 made a world of difference. And this just felt like it to me. I've seen how it worked. I've seen that it was so many people were interested in these platforms that did something similar to this, but they just couldn't trust who was behind it. I couldn't trust who was behind it. But this one, the reason I like it is because it's so transparent. You could really see who's holding what, when people have sold. If we go here to sell, I'm not going to sell. I don't think I would ever sell. If anything, I would just start leeching off my dividends because I know I can get more than I invested originally from that and let the rest ride. So it looks like the last time anyone sold was 14 hours ago. And my guess is they were getting gas money there, or I don't know. People get in, people get out. That's the thing. You can get in and out at any time. You could get in and say you're going to sit for dividends, and then this price triples because more people are buying, and you could say, to hell with this, I'm getting out. If I was to exit right now with the little bit of coins I had, I would be quite a bit up, right? But I'm not going to because I don't care about this green line. I only care about this purple line. And if it did that in a week, week and a half, I could only imagine what it'll do in a month or a year. I think I'm going to end this video and leave, if there's any questions, at the bottom. The website, again, that I use is p3dcoin.com, right? p3dcoin.com. That's the one I use. Again, I am not telling you to invest in this. I am not a financial advisor. But I'm in it. And usually when I get in something, I share it because I don't make really secret trades. And I had shared this with people that were close to me through emails and such. Very few have got in. Oh, looks like my battery's about to die. All right. I'm going to end the video there so I don't lose this feed. Questions, leave them on the bottom. Otherwise, see you next time.